for listening to this is Junior Sea of the Grand Ball.
She said don't speak on her man. She gonna get you. Okay. I mean, I'm a show me kind of girl. I want you to be about your word. I want you to, if you say you gonna pop me, I need you to show me. Show me that. I need you to show me that you gonna pop me.
The one and only.
Cause ain't no nigga, that transition ever put no fear in my heart. Ever. No transition nigga. There probably no, it's not. There's probably people who are married. There's probably people who are married. I don't know nothing about that man. I'm just telling y'all what people are showing me. I don't be looking after niggas, man. People just send me screenshots of, you know, the tea. Look at here. Look at this. Look at work for it. Okay. Husband. Looking for a second. Looking for a third.
Morse Mutual.
That's
How
right.
can I
You
be of
better pull him
service?
out of there. You better put him
Sure.
out there and pull somebody in to y'all marriage. I'll live. Poly to me means leave money on the table. No need to get paid. Poly just means that you open to multiple people. From what I can understand, poly is, you know. T.S. Umar Hope Giselle Johnson into the chest. That's all it is. It really, that's all it gives. It's giving scammer. It's giving. It's giving weirdo. It's giving weirdo. And that's why I said earlier today, I was like, this is the problem with gracing people. When you just try to be cordial and grace, oh, I'm just gonna block it on Libra folks. Not worry about it. The issue that I have, I could have called her out years ago. Talking about the wedding since you brought it up. Yeah. I don't know what I don't the wedding. Like I said, people started sending me screenshots saying that she's selling tickets. You selling tickets to your wedding? Brianna, do you remember when she was? Oh my God, do you remember when? So a lot of the girls was on was on magazines, like they were either featured in magazines or doing photo shoots with like Vogue. Like I think Raquel did a feature with Vogue, and I think India had done one with Elle or something like that. These are all around the same time. And Hope put up a post faking like she was on the covers too, and she had like a carousel post on Instagram where she had doctored up a fake picture to be on the cover or whatever. And I was like, is she serious? And I was like, because why is she sitting there on this little stool with her slave feet out? And I don't want to say slave feet. That makes me feel like I'm being weird. Color is weird. But her feet look like she played football when she was in college. Her feet look like they were sitting on the bar of that stool, and they just reminded me of them pictures that you see in history books with the slaves sitting on the porch and they feet is hanging off the thing. That's what it reminded me of. Them feet was looking so hard and ashy and long. And baby, listen, like she played
Come on.
soccer. Yeah, looking like she walked barefoot everywhere, everywhere. It was gagging to me. I was like, ain't no way you on the cover of Vogue, or not on the cover, in Vogue with your dogs out like that. Impossible. They would not have them dogs out like that. Impossible. I don't know why you trying to sell this lie. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. But that shit was funny as hell to me. That shit was funny as hell. She did say she used to dance, so maybe that explains her feet. That makes sense. She looked like she danced. She do look like she danced. She looked like she step danced for a few dollars. For 6 years at an HBCU. That's what them feet look like. Like she in some gold boots all the time, stomping with them dogs. That's what she looked like to me. Like she went to school and stomped on the yard for Alpha and Omega. That's what it looked like to me. And I was gagged. I was gagged. It was gagging to me. I was gagged. So no socks and steel toe boots. Every time. Not one time having socks on. I mean every time. No socks, steel toe boots. Gold. Laced up. Stomp in the yard. I was gagged. What other thing did she do that was funny to me? Um, oh, okay. So, all right, here's some more tea. I don't think I told this tea on the private. I told this tea, but different, a different angle because I know another angle because I know people involved with it. So, she posted, this is how you know the people just trying to do shit for clout. So, she became the ED of the National Trans Visibility March, right? And so when they announced it, she in the graphic, it was like I'm the CEO, president, executive director, CFO. She had all these titles that you can't be. The National Trans Presidency. It was weird. I was like, you all of those positions, girl? What? And somebody sent it to me. I was like, I should get all of those positions in the org. But so so I'm in DC. Well, I'm in DC. Yes, this is what I'm talking about, Chris. She did steal that Instagram page. This is I'll give you the backstory of that. So so she's in the position for like a year. Okay? She's in the position for like a year. And in the whole year, this is the part I'm not for sure the details, but there was one like little contract. It's either was back or some kind of little program that she got. And from what I can understand, it was already in the working, but the people who hired her said, we're going to give her credit for that. We're going to give her credit for that, but it was already working. We're going to give her credit for that. But with credit for that, she didn't fundraise nothing. So you in this position for a year and you ain't raised no money, but you got time to do all the social media posts and do this and do that and da 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 da. But you ain't working hard to raise no funds. So apparently, it was time for the next year. Okay, it was time for the next year's cars. The first one that she does is when it is fast. The first one that she does without the OED.
Minigun positions on either side and a large caliber explosive round gun in the co-pilot's seat. So, one of you will fly it, the other three will shoot. That's on the off chance there's anything to shoot out of the seagulls.
So, from what I can understand, based on what the OED told, they was not, the OED is not only the OED, so traditionally, when you are, when you have any events, you bring the old head, especially if you're a new girl, you bring the old head out and say, you give them thanks, you bring them out to the event, like you have a parade, them around too. But apparently she was being shady and not wanting, she wanted all the attention to herself and not wanting to give attention to the old event. So, look, I'm gonna tell this. I was sitting here thinking like, this is I'm sorry, Marissa. I'm gonna tell the truth. It's war, not the truth. With something. So, they were trying to push this account of the situation. But Marissa came in and said, I still hold the power of I own it. She had some friends come in and help her. Come in and scoop up the ownership because she hadn't solidified herself. Scooped up the ownership for herself. She founded it. Scooped up the ownership for herself and gladly. So, oh baby, we're not gonna renew your contract. We're gonna give the position.
They dispatch air units. Point and pull the triggers. You cannot bring bogeys back.
Good day, ma'am. Good luck. So, was being shady to her, not knowing that she was going to be the person that was going to decide whether to hire or fire you. So, like, it was just whole ordeal. So, instead of her just gracefully bowing out and saying, oh, I'm just going to leave and go find me another job since I'm so great and I'm so skilled. I'm just gonna leave and go find another job. She literally steals the people's. She literally, the person who, she went to the trans meet, who set up the accounts and got the password and stole their social media. And then when they started calling her out, she went on her. Starts never put it exposed. I tell myself because of astrology. When she gets exposed, she tried to come out like the mother. They made a narrative for the narrative. The real narrative. So everybody is gathering and seeing the recordings of her admitting that she's stealing these people. Recording and changing stealing these people's social media and changing it, talking about just taking it for a community so we can do something for the community for it. What? Who steals social media for your own business? It's not a business anybody brings to the community. That you can steal your company that you don't work and then get online and try to sell it to your audience that this is the right thing to do. That's the crazy part. So, I don't see it. Oh, yeah, here it comes. Yeah, so it looks like I'm seeing some of the old, like, no, you can delete the whole other stuff.
That's it. Clear skies. Good work.
No.
Might
Yes,
be one way to babysit the bird just north of the Alamo Sea. Drop it and you're done.
yes, it's the national training institute. Okay. So yes, real shit. She had me believe her at this point. I believe her first time. She's back with kids. Listen to her first talking ass too long. Oh, fast talking ass too long.
Elected quite a freak for this,
That's what got me. Don't play with my intelligence. Just say yes, I did it, and I don't give a fuck.
Nevertheless,
Period.
unsuccessfully. You can never be too prepared or too well equipped.
Reputable proof that before were not protected.
I'm Minister Val in Paris, and this is CNN.
Bring the chopper down easy. You don't want to mess this up now.
Hello to you. I'm Polo Sandoval, joining you live from New York, wherever you may be watching from. Welcome to CNN Newsroom. Here's what's ahead for the next half hour. The U.S. president calling it unprecedented. Israel and Hamas now closer than ever to ending the war in Gaza. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs will remain in prison. His attorney is calling his sentence un-American. Others say actual win for Diddy. And there may be a mysterious new planet in our solar system where astronomers say that it could be hiding at the center. This is CNN Newsroom with Polo Sandoval. And welcome to CNN Newsroom. It is currently 7 a.m. in Gaza, where there is cautious optimism that Israel and Hamas may be closer than ever to ending their ongoing fighting. Hamas has already agreed to enter negotiations for the release of all hostages as called for in U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan. In response, a senior Israeli official tells CNN's analyst Barak Ravid that the Israeli Defense Forces will halt efforts to occupy Gaza City and to, quote, shift to defensive operations only. Earlier, President Trump, he urged Israel to immediately stop the bombing of Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly. The words from the president.
This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down and concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents.
Israel's Hostages and Missing Persons Family Forum, they are welcoming the news, saying President Trump's demand to stop the war immediately is essential to prevent serious and irreversible harm to the hostages. CNN's Kristen Holmes has more from the White House.
President Trump calling on Israel to stop bombing in Gaza after Hamas agrees to at least some points of Trump's peace plan. Here's what he posted on Truth Social. He said, based on the statement just issued by Hamas, I believe they are ready for lasting peace. Israel must immediately stop the bombing of Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly. Right now, it's far too dangerous to do that. We're already in discussions on details to be worked out. This is not about Gaza alone. It is about long-sought peace in the Middle East. Now, to be clear, one of the big things that Hamas did agree to was this exchange of hostages, was the fact that they would turn over all living and dead hostages. Part of that 20-point plan was that in exchange for that, Israel would release 250 life sentence prisoners as well as 1,700 detained Gazans. There's still questions about other parts of this peace plan that Hamas didn't agree to. They did say they wanted to enter into this mediation, to negotiate through those different points, but they didn't say anything specifically about, for example, them giving over their weapons, complete disarmament, which was part of that peace plan, and to many was a non-negotiable. Now, President Trump earlier today had issued this ultimatum that they had to come up, they had to agree to this plan by Sunday at 6 p.m. Hamas clearly reaching that deadline much earlier, but leaving a lot of room here for that negotiation. Of course, as we have been reporting, both Qatar and Egypt have been helping with those ongoing negotiations with the militant group. Again, still not entirely clear what of these 20 points, other than specifically of the giving over of hostages, Hamas is going to agree to. Kristen Holmes, CNN, the White House.
Let's discuss all this now with Stephen Cook. He's a senior fellow for Middle Eastern Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations. He's also the author of The End of Ambition, America's Past, Present, and Future in the Middle East. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So Hamas has already agreed on principle to return all hostages and to leave power. But is it your sense that this is certainly far from over? What still needs to be agreed to on behalf of Hamas to create a likely path to peace, you think?
Yeah, this is a yes, but at best. It is a good sign that they have said that they want to release all the hostages at one time. But there are two other critical components here that they have left open to negotiation. One, that is Hamas's disarmament. And the second is Hamas's role in the Gaza Strip after the war comes to an end. Those are both critical issues for the Israelis. Hamas must disarm from their perspective, and Hamas must have no role in the Gaza Strip. That's not what Hamas has agreed to. In fact, it has said that it will negotiate those points and would be subject to a consensus of the Palestinian people. That's far from a yes.
When it comes to what's happening right now, for example, within the Israeli government, you have President Trump making his, quite frankly, unprecedented call to Israel to stop bombing Gaza. Because of that, and because of that alliance between the White House and Prime Minister Netanyahu, I'm curious, in your view, how much pressure is mounting on the Prime Minister right now?
Oh, it's clear to me that President Trump is trying to put as much pressure as possible on Prime Minister Netanyahu as he can. And with Hamas saying that it would return all the hostages at once, the president is consistent with about 80 or 85% of the Israeli population, which wants the war to come to an end and the hostages to come home. So it'll be difficult on two fronts for Netanyahu to not agree to bring this to an end. It'll cause outrage among the Israeli people, and it risks a breach with President Trump. So Netanyahu is under a lot of pressure. Already this evening, he has said that he is willing to work with the White House to ensure that the agreement is fully implemented. If you listen to that very carefully, what they are saying is that Hamas must disarm and Hamas must have no role in the Gaza Strip going forward, in addition to all 48 hostages coming home at the same time.
Do you think that the Prime Minister will have to revisit that previous call to just eliminate Hamas altogether? One thing is to just remove them from having any political influence, and another is just basically eliminate them from the area.
He's already walked away from that, in fact. If you go back to his appearance with President Trump before the press at the announcement of this 20-point peace plan, he said that the plan satisfied all of Israel's strategic goals in its war in Gaza. The Israelis have replaced the total destruction of Hamas with Hamas must disarm and have no role in the politics, in the leadership in the Gaza Strip.
So essentially what we have here is President Trump closer to, at least to accomplishments here, potential accomplishments. There's the hostage release and a possible end to a war. But what's missing here, the Palestinian people in Gaza. Would you expect any sort of relief or aid to be addressed when these negotiations pick up and resume?
Yeah, and this is unfortunately always the case, is that in these discussions between the United States and Israel and the United States and mediators in the region, is that poor Gazans and Palestinians are left out of the discussion. In fact, the 20-point plan calls for a massive surge of aid into the Gaza Strip as hostages are released and there is disengagement and Israeli withdrawals and Hamas disarms. Hopefully that will be the case. My sense is, however, because Hamas has indicated a yes, but they'd like to negotiate further and litigate some of these issues further, that we may see some hostages come out of Gaza. But this plan is far from assured that it'll ever be fully implemented.
So much needs to still happen in order for that 20-point plan to work. And Stephen Koch, we're so appreciative that you could come on and help us better understand what was just an incredibly eventful Friday. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Japan's ruling party is voting on a new leader, and the winner is likely to become the country's next prime minister, replacing Shigeru Ishiba. The Liberal Democratic Party, it's ruled Japan for decades now, but it's also been mired in scandal and also has become widely popular in that country. Party loyalists hoping that a new leader can maybe help stop that downward spiral. CNN's Hanako Montgomery joining us live from Tokyo at this hour. Hanako, I'm so glad you could join us. Let's talk front runners right now, the contenders, the candidates, if you will, who are vying for Ishiba's job as party leader. Who could be their savior?
Hi, Paul. It's good to see you. So I'm just outside the Liberal Democratic Party headquarters where lawmakers are beginning to vote for their next party president. Now, as you said, there are several candidates in this race, but really three top contenders. The first of which is Sanae Takaichi. Now, if she were elected, she could become the country's first female prime minister. She's quite fiscally and socially conservative. She's hailed as the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's protege. And if she were elected, it would really signal that the LDP is reverting back to its conservative roots. Now, the second top contender in this race, Polo, is Shinjiro Koizumi, who at 44 could be the country's youngest prime minister in post-war Japan. Now, he hails from a political dynasty. His father was a former Japanese prime minister. And while he doesn't have as much experience as his rivals, he does represent a new face, a new era for the party. Now, the third and final top contender in this race, Paulo, is Yoshimasa Hayashi. He currently serves as the country's chief cabinet secretary. He's actually the most politically experienced of the bunch. He's previously served as the defense, agriculture, and foreign minister. But while he does have a lot of political experience, he doesn't have as much color as the other two top candidates. So it's really a toss-up between these three, Paula, to see which one will be elected.
And of course, there would be hopes that whoever is elected could potentially help that party recover from this prolonged instability. And you could just remind our viewers around the world, what are some of the challenges that the Liberal Democratic Party has been facing and hoping to overcome with this election?
Yeah, the LDP has been really mired in a political crisis. I mean, for the past 5 years, it's cycled through 4 different prime ministers, which really goes to show how unpopular the party currently is with the general public right now. Now, there are really 3 top reasons why we've identified that the LDP is suffering so much in polls. The first of which is because the country is seeing record high inflation. Households are being crushed right now with really high prices. But the LDP hasn't been able to sufficiently address this issue. Now, the second reason is in late 2023, the country and the party faced a political scandal. They were found to have not properly reported some kickbacks they were receiving. Some lawmakers didn't properly report their income. And of course, when the public found out, they were very, very frustrated with this news. Now, the third and final reason here, Paulo, is that the party has lacked a lot of creativity when it comes to these elections. It hasn't really been able to address really any key new issues, hasn't been able to really come up with new policy ideas. And instead, the opposition party has been the one to really come up with new ideas and new policies, whether it be around healthcare, immigration. So really, these 3 reasons, Paulo, culminating in the reason why the LDP is just not very popular among the general public. Paulo.
Inflation, housing prices, and certainly political scandal. That's something that people in other parts of the world can certainly relate with as they closely watch these elections. Hanako, thank you so much for that report. Live from Tokyo. In the U.S., lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs say that they plan to appeal his prison sentence. The music mogul, he was sentenced on Friday to 4 years and 2 months in order to pay a maximum $500,000 fine. Combs was convicted in July on 2 counts of transporting individuals for prostitution. CNN's Kara Scannell was in court when Diddy learned his fate.
The family of disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs leaving court after Judge Arun Subramanian handed down hard time, telling Combs his sentence needed to be substantial as the musician irreparably harmed 2 women. Combs spoke in his own defense for the first time, apologizing to his victims directly and taking full responsibility for his prostitution-related conviction. There are no excuses. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. I beg your honor for mercy, Combs pleaded. This came after hours of testimonials in court trying to convince the judge Combs is a changed man, a marked shift in strategy from the defense who had repeatedly argued his innocence.
You will change the world.
Combs sobbed as his team showed a documentary-style video highlighting his charity work interspersed with family moments. Huddled together, supporting each other at the podium, several of his children teared up, advocating for their father, insisting he's been rehabilitated. His son Justin called Combs his superhero. His daughter told the court he's working on becoming a better man and a more present father. Others became emotional, focusing on Combs' contributions to the Black community, while underscoring his own traumas and battles with drug addiction. The judge ultimately recognized these contributions and struggles, calling them iconic and impressive, but said a history of good works can't wash away the record in this case. Prosecutor Christy Slavic was not moved by the day's speeches, arguing Combs' respect for the law is just lip service, calling Combs a master puppeteer of his own image. After his summer trial where the jury heard about freak-offs and hotel nights, Combs was cleared of the more serious charges against him, including sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. Key evidence in the trial and in Combs' sentencing was this surveillance video from 2016, first revealed by CNN, which shows Combs in a hotel hallway violently dragging and kicking then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura across the floor. None of the victims spoke at the sentencing, but Ventura submitted a letter to the court, warning that Combs has, quote, no interest in changing or becoming better. I am so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be swift retribution towards me and others who spoke up about his abuse at trial, she wrote. It's not clear yet where Combs will serve his sentence, but he is expected to appeal the decision. Combs' attorney, Brian Steele, told me after the sentencing he thought it was un-American and wrong for the judge to consider conduct of which Combs was acquitted. Now, the judge did say he had a message for the victims in this case, Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and the woman who testified under the pseudonym Jane. He said to them, we hear you, and he said that he was proud of them. The judge also said he had a message for Combs, saying that he might be in a dark place now, but he told Combs there is light at the end of the tunnel. Combs has been sentenced to 50 months in prison. He's already been in jail for 12 of those, so he has about 3 more years left to serve. Kara Scannell, CNN, New York.
And of course, there are many different ways to look at the sentence. CNN's legal analyst Joey Jackson explains why it may have actually turned out in Diddy's favor.
He is a big winner today. Let me explain why. When we started out this trial with regard to the racketeering charges, he's running a criminal enterprise, he was facing life in jail. In addition to life in jail, which his liberty interest would have been gone, he was facing the forfeiture of all of his assets. Yeah. Now, right, he beats the charges, 3 of them at least, and he gets sentenced now on the other 2, transportation for prostitution. You have the United States Department of Probation. They also issue a recommendation. Their recommendation, Caitlin, was anywhere from, 5 to 7 years. Judge went below that. and said, well, I'm not going to give you the 14 months, but I'm going to add on more time, which was 4 years. So if you look at it on balance from what he came into this case with, facing his life, the destruction of his life, to now doing 4 years and $500,000 in payment, $500,000, he was facing $1 billion in loss because of the forfeiture. So call it what you want. This is a tremendous win. And to be clear, when I say win, there are no winners. There are victims here who are reeling. We get that. Certainly his family is in a problem place. They want him home. But at the end of the day, from what the prosecutors started to where they got, this is a tremendous victory for his team, even if his defense lawyers are really unhappy, and so is he.
Well, still ahead at this hour, another U.S. military strike on a boat just off the coast of Venezuela. Why the Trump administration's anti-drug trafficking campaign is now sparking new concerns.
Tired of dragging out your big, bulky pressure washer and dealing with that?
Now, I could have came on here. Now, I'm telling y'all all about this. Not that y'all don't know, but I could have came on here and been messy and talked about it and all that stuff, but I was like, girl, she's just digging her own hole. That's why it gags me. This is why I said, this is why grace and people don't work. Read a bitch today. Take advice from your auntie, the old hating ass bitch, Auntie Diamond. Read a bitch the day she play you. When she play in your face, read that bitch that day. Don't let her slide. Because if you wait, they gonna come back and try to spin the narrative. Just like she did with Angelica.
With Thrivent, your personal finances aren't just personal. We use money as a tool to help all the people we hold in our hearts. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more.
And the fact that we're talking about transphobic people and you getting on here talking about, oh, you guys are the blueprint, and I'll never, bitch, who you trying to get picked by? Bitches that don't like you? Who the fuck does? Get the fuck out of here. I remember that Twitter moment too. It was so bizarre how aloof she was. So then she doesn't act Angelica, she acts me and Brianna. Cis women don't owe us anything. Yes. So she added me and Brianna. So I didn't know she was talking about me or Brianna. But she added both of us. So to me, she talked about both of us. And at this time in her internet life, she had probably like 4,000 or 5,000 followers on Instagram. Not that this shit, for me, none of this shit means nothing to me. I've never been, I don't want to just talk my shit to whoever listening to my shit. It ain't really about numbers. So when I was really thinking about numbers was like in 09, 010. 2020, anything in this era, I ain't think about no damn numbers. Because the algorithm been weird to trans people for a while. But anyway, she at Brianna, and I'm like, she at me and Brianna, and so I'm looking at Brianna, and I'm like, why would Brianna want to be fooled? Because Brianna is a fucking lawyer. Brianna done started an org in Baltimore. She done went from Baltimore to go to DePaul in Chicago and get her law degree, dealing with that, survived cancer. In the middle of this, her getting her law degree, survive cancer, and then do a whole move to be sitting in a new city in H-Town, making 6 figures. Why would she be jealous of you? You an internet bitch that have been fired as Angelica Ross's assistant. You done been fired from every job. You an internet bitch that got 5,000 followers. Why would she be jealous of you? And then me, I've been in the game for a long motherfucking time. There ain't nothing that you got that I ain't already done. Why would I be jealous of you? You just started this internet shit. I've been on this motherfucker. Why would us two? Why would any of us be jealous of you? For what? I don't understand.
Jesus Christ!
She's a lawyer. Why wouldn't she be making coins? She's a real lawyer. She's a lawyer. She got a bar. She done passed the bar in multiple states. You think she went to school to make $50,000 a year? No. That's in her career. She's in her career doing her thing. So that's why it was a gag. Like, bitch, get out of here. So, in my brain, I'm like, bitch, what? And I'm feeling sickening because, you know, I'm feeling sickening because, you know, I just came off a motherfucking, it's 2019, so I just got a contract with Spotify for $25,000. I done got a contract with Google, so my coins is looking quite sticky. And I'm doing love. Marketplace is booming. I'm like, sweetie, how we jealous of you? Like, how we want to be you? You ain't nothing. It was a game. But anyway, back to Angelica. So, about how Grayson bitches don't get you far. So, Angelica fired her ass. And I'm firing you because you was going behind my back being weird and sneaky about bookings. Fuck that. You my assistant and you going behind my back trying to be the superstar on the side, being weird, being a fucking weirdo as my assistant. And so when I fire you, I tell you, because I'm Buddhist nice, I'm Buddhist nice woman, I tell you, oh darling, you're a star. Go and be a star. You don't need to be an assistant. I need a real assistant. You need to go.
So I have been sleeping on a full mattress my entire adult life, which definitely had to change. So cue Casper.
But because I'm professional, I'm going to inspire you to go be a star. And so now, this week, she's going back and making it seem like now that I done glowed up and I done got equal to you, you're hating on me. To Angelica. Even though she been gracing you with your weird shit for a long time. Enough to go to your wedding. She not being fake coming to your wedding. She know you're a weirdo. She know the history y'all have had. But she's been gracing you because she's Buddhist bitch. And so you ain't done nothing to totally be like, oh, I ain't fucking with you no more. So yeah, I'm gonna come to your wedding and be cool and da-da-da-da-da. But and now she's spinning the narrative that you just been this fake person. That Angelica been this fake person. This is why you don't grace these hoes. You call them out. Because eventually, they gonna come and give a narrative that ain't the fucking narrative, that ain't the truth. So that takes me all the way back to the story I told about BTAC. Now, she making it seem like I gave her an award. I did not give her an award. If anybody has been to BTAC, at BTAC, Angelica is Buddhist and patience before. Exactly. Anybody who's been to BTAC during this time, it's always, every year it happens. I'm not with BTAC anymore, so y'all, I got a video in the private section of why, explaining all the history of the negative with BTAC. Because I'm crazy motherfuckers, because I don't want to put people on blast, but I don't fuck with them. Our visions don't align. But, I fucked with them for 11, 12 years. So, what happens is, during one of, the beginning of the conference, we have a luncheon where we have keynotes. And we have a keynote from early in the days we would have, because we were binary as fuck, we expanded and learned and extended it to non-binary people too. But in the early days, it was a woman and it was a man. And then the non-binary people that was coming called us out and was like, y'all too binary. We need a non-binary shit too. So we start having 3. A trans woman and a trans man and a non-binary person. So this is the year, I think this is the year that we have our first non-binary person. I think this is the year. So the year before, it was me as the keynote and Jonathan Thunderwood. Me and Jonathan Thunderwood. And so what happens is, whoever the keynote was the year before, they introduced the current year's keynote. So I didn't give her an award. I introduced her as the keynote because I was the last year's keynote. So it's not like she was selling the story on the video clip that I saw. She was selling it like I had gave her an award. Like she was this special thing, and now I'm being fake and hating on her. But previously I was giving her an award. No, bitch, I didn't give you no fucking award. And if it was up to me, you wouldn't have been the keynote, because I remember your ass Coonan and Candace Owens. But like I said, the meeting, I wasn't in that meeting that week. So Monica Roberts, Dee Dee, and whoever else was in the meeting, Kamarian, because Kamarian was still there at that time. More food. And so I would have called it out. I would be like, oh, has she evolved? What's going on with her? Did she change her tune? But by the time I knew that she was gonna be the one, it was too late, and I would have felt like it was like me hating on her. So I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna say, nah, we can't do her. But I'm also not a fake ass bitch. I am, when I get up there to introduce her, I say something. I don't be it, because I'm also a professional. I don't go up there and be like, oh, I remember when you was, Candace Owens, girl. I remember that. I remember you hating on that school. I didn't say that, but what I did say is, I'm glad that you have evolved enough to be on this stage. I'm glad that you have grown in your politics. So she knows I have been in her comments reading her about her politics. So I'm introducing her and talking to her and saying, while I introduce her, I'm glad that you have evolved enough to be in this space. And I'm glad that you have come a long way from what you used to be doing. And so I want to introduce Hope Giselle to come up and do this keynote. Come on up, girl. Da, 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 da. So that is how I introduce her, acknowledging her past and acknowledging her growth. That is what happened. And so it wasn't a fucking, and I wish that I hadn't, because then that's when the first incident of you being a scammer came up to me. You did that fucking contest for the girl to come to, you raised funds to do that contest for the girl to come to BTAC to see you at the keynote. But you didn't use the funds to get her a place to stay. You pocketed the funds and left it up to us to get her a place to stay, but you waited too late, so we didn't figure it out. And she already left beforehand. So that's my first sign of when she did something shady, where it was like, oh, you scripted, you a scammer. Like, you a scammer because you pocketed the money and didn't get the girl a place to stay. So not only is you not a community ass bitch, because you didn't make sure that this girl was all right, you literally had her in fucking Dallas with no place to stay, in the hopes that we would give her a place to stay. And then you shadily wait till everybody sleep to contact people to figure it out. And then you gone and she gone by the time I get up. So, not only was you cooning, hating on the sex workers, you scamming. So I know you ain't a good person. You're not a good person. You're not a quality community ass bitch. So the fact that you will come and show Charlie Kirk's teeth mouth, because her teeth is like Charlie Kirk's too. If y'all notice, them teeth is fucking is giving. Which is on brand. And it's always Charlie Kirk. Boom, on brand. So, for me, you gonna come out your mouth and try to claim that I'm hating that too. Or come out your mouth and claim that I don't like cis women. It's just some wild ass work. I got video. Like it's a whole playlist on my channel of me taking money that from a grant that I got from Miss Foundation and taking 12 women, cis and trans, to Hawaii. And I'm intentionally picking cisgender women who have intersectional work. Like, they have intersectional work that includes, that has a trans vision within. Like, they're trans inclusive. I intentionally pick cis women that do that. Literally, and we sit and have conversations about Black pride, Black beauty, Black sisterhood, Black liberation. It's a whole playlist on my channel with 6 women in it having these amazing conversations. That's what I do. It's literally there. There's in my content, I've always now I'm Black trans. I'm a Black trans woman, so there's going to be more Black trans women that I showcase, but I also showcase cisgender women too. When have I not? And you can't possibly know Diamond and not know that she fucking up. Now I'm not gonna let them bitches be transphobic. I ain't gonna let them bitches be all weird and talk about don't call me cisgendered and da-da-da. If you on some J.K. Rowling bullshit or you on some fucking Jess Hilarious bullshit, bitch, fuck you. I don't like them type of cis women. But the cis women that fuck with me, that respect me and affirm me, I fuck with them the long way. Been fucking with them the long way. Your track record is still and always will be public. Yeah, it's that is also weird too. It's like I've been around for too long. I can't fake who I am for this fucking long. I just calculated the time, bitch. I've been on this motherfucker since 2008, bitch. That's almost when the election happened, when Trump get out of this motherfucking office, if he does, fascism, I will be on this bitch for 20 years. That's wild. And you think I'm faking? You think I can fake for 20 years? You can't. You can't do it. Fuck out of here. And then hating men. Now hating men. Now listen. Do I like a little misandry? Sometimes. I like a little misandry. So do I read niggas? Yes. Do I think patriarchal niggas is whack? Do I think they corny? Absolutely. Do I give niggas any grace? No. Never. They gets no grace from me. I don't fuck with niggas like that. But hate them? No. The good ones? No. I don't want to say I'm not the first. I don't know who did. If somebody before me did some trans-attracted content, but I know black men-centered trans-attracted content. I don't know no video that's older than the one that I did. Trying to give them a voice. Maybe some white girl has some white boy up there talking about it. But I be having niggas on here when they got a trans-inclusive politic. I done had Consciously on here. I done had training chasers on this motherfucker. On my podcast. I got 2 episodes of training chasing niggas on my podcast. I try to center men who, and if you're watching, make sure you thumbs up. I try to center men who has a
extraordinary moment, because this is the latest in this kind of ping pong of statements that we have seen between Hamas, President Trump, and now the Israeli government. What this statement from the Israeli Prime Minister's office doesn't address, however, is the demand that President Trump made in his social media posts, and that was for Israel to, quote, immediately stop the bombing of Gaza in order to allow for this hostage release to take place. Now, we don't know how quickly this release of hostages could take place or whether it actually will yet, and that is an important caveat here. There are so many unknowns at this stage. We don't even know whether that 72-hour clock for Hamas to release the hostages following an agreement between Israel and Hamas, whether that clock has actually indeed begun. But it was all set in motion once we saw this response from Hamas on Friday night. Hamas, in that statement, basically responding to President Trump's 20-point plan to end the war with a yes, but, saying yes, that they were prepared to release all of the hostages in exchange for the number of Palestinian prisoners held by Israel that were laid out in President Trump's framework. They said they were ready to enter negotiations immediately to agree to the details on that. They also said they were ready to hand over power to a technocratic Palestinian government, also something that was in the Trump plan. But there are some major details that were left out of this Hamas statement, namely the issue of disarmament, which is at the crux, really, of this 20-point plan to end the war, and a major demand from Israel that Hamas be disarmed as a condition for ending the war. Hamas's statement doesn't explicitly mention disarmament at all. What they do mention, though, is the, quote, inherent rights of the Palestinian people, which could be a reference to the weapons that Hamas holds and that they believe they can legitimately use against Israel. Hamas, in this statement, says that any issue relating to those rights will be discussed in the context of a comprehensive national Palestinian framework. And that is a far cry from what the Trump plan actually says in terms of the way that this disarmament would be carried out. And according to U.S. officials, that issue of disarmament is very much non-negotiable. But all of those details aside, and they are major and very significant details, President Trump seems to have been more eager to move forward and to count this response from Hamas as basically Hamas agreeing to his framework, presenting this notion as Israel previously agreeing to the 20-point plan, now Hamas also agreeing, and in the president's words, saying that he believes Hamas is, quote, ready for a lasting peace. Now the tough work of actually putting this deal into action is what will truly begin. The Qataris already saying that they are working to complete discussions to ensure that this framework agreement, as it seems to be, will actually lead to an end of the war. But a lot of uncertainty still very much remaining. Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Tel Aviv.
As the UK grieves the Manchester synagogue attack that came on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism, there's new information about how one of the victims died. British authorities now say that one person was likely killed by armed officers. CNN's Nick Robertson spoke to members of that grieving community.
Have to do with things on the ground as they. Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Manchester Friday after Thursday's deadly synagogue attack, promising better protection by police. Just as police announcing they had accidentally killed one of the congregation sheltering behind the synagogue's doors, hit by a bullet fired at the attacker. Firearms officers had surrounded the alleged attacker, who was wearing a hoaxed bomb. As he tried to break in through the synagogue's front door, they shouted at him to stop and shot him. Josh, a local journalist, lives opposite the synagogue and witnessed the police response.
On one hand, I want to thank the police. They came extremely fast. But there must be lessons to be learned.
In this community, Jews live side by side with Christians, with Muslims. It's middle class, quietly aspirational. But all of that has hit a speed bump now. Fault lines, quietly ignored, now seem like chasms.
Keir Starmer said straight out, we need to put more security in the synagogue. I'm saying straight out to Keir, no, we don't need more security. What we need is dialogue. What we need is projects for interfaith that people know about each other's faith.
At a rain-drenched vigil, a sea of multi-faith sorrow, first soothed by the attacked synagogue's rabbi, remembering the two men killed, 53-year-old Adrian Dolby and Melvin Kravitz, 66 years old. My friends, my community members, Adrian and Melvin, died as Jews, for being Jews. And so I beg all of the Jewish community here to please strengthen not the opposite, but strengthen your lives as Jews. The only way to defeat darkness, the only way to defeat unholiness is with goodness. But the somber mood shifting to anger.
No more words, Prime Minister. We demand action.
As the Deputy Prime Minister took the mic.
That is why we stand in defiance of those terrorists who seek to divide us, who want to pit neighbour against neighbour, to weaken the bonds that bind us together as one nation, one people, one united kingdom.
Please, let the Deputy Prime Minister speak, please.
Please. We cannot, we must not let them divide us.
If rain alone could wash away the anger and heartache, Manchester would be on the road to recovery. Instead, the pain is slowly soaking in, seeping into places no one wants it to go. Nick Robertson, CNN, Manchester.
The U.S. military says that it has struck a suspected drug boat just off the coast of Venezuela on Friday, killing 4 people on board. President Trump defending the move, calling the vessel, quote, a narco-trafficking threat. As you see here, this attack is now the 4th known U.S. military strike in the Caribbean since the beginning of September. CNN's Stefano Pozzebon reports on the rising death toll resulting from these U.S. operations. The Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, has criticized a new strike by the U.S. Navy on Friday that killed 4 alleged drug traffickers in international waters off the coast of Venezuela. Petro has called the killings a murder of the poor people of the Caribbean. While in announcing the strike, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, had said that the U.S. had irrefutable proof that the 4 were narco-terrorists. Now, Petro's voice is just the last one in a choir of criticisms for this new policy of the White House of taking out alleged drug trafficking boats in international waters, allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela and other South American nations up towards the United States. The U.S. has conducted at least 4 strikes similar to the one on Friday and killed at least 21 alleged narco traffickers. By the way, we still do not know the nationalities of those 21 people. Meanwhile, the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, has called for new military drills on the weekend. And earlier this week, Venezuela passed a law that would automatically impose a state of emergency on the nation in case of a U.S. strike on Venezuelan soil. For CNN, this is Stefano Pozzebon, Bogota.
Well, it seems that there is no end in sight. The U.S. government shutdown, it is set to run into next week. This after separate measures to end the funding stalemate failed again in the Senate. Right now, there are no plans for the Senate to be in session over the weekend. Julia Benberg reports from the White House.
The arguments remain the same. Republicans are still pushing for essentially an extension of current funding levels on a short-term basis. And Democrats continue to focus on health care, calling to extend enhanced Obamacare subsidies set to expire at the end of the year. As the stalemate continues on Capitol Hill, so does the blame game.
Unfortunately, Republicans have shown zero interest in even having a conversation. Republicans are being responsible. We're operating in good faith. And we're trying to get the Democrats to do their job, and they won't.
The stakes are high. As the Trump administration has made it clear, they see the shutdown as an opportunity to shrink the size of the federal government, threatening thousands of layoffs. Now, this step could be seen as a tactic to get Democrats to agree to their funding plan without concessions.
Their discussions continue between the Office of Management and Budget and cabinet agencies across the board, and they are actively identifying where these cuts and these layoffs have to be made.
During the government shutdown, the president and lawmakers do continue to get paid, but hundreds of thousands of federal workers do not. And while many of them are still working during this time frame, they don't know when they'll see their next paycheck. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs say that they plan to appeal his prison sentence. A judge gave the music mogul 50 months in prison and also ordered him to pay the maximum $500,000 fine. CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister was in court for that sentencing.
Hip-hop icon Sean Diddy Combs sentenced to more than 4 years in prison after his conviction on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The judge telling Combs he would serve hard time away from his family. In a pivotal day for the 55-year-old rap mogul, he spoke in court for the first time at length, apologizing to Cassie Ventura for any physical and emotional harm he caused, adding, "I lost my self-respect. I've been humbled and broken to my core. I hate myself right now. I got stripped down to nothing." He then begged the judge for mercy, saying, "I don't have nobody to blame but myself. I know I'll never put hands on another person again. I know that I've learned my lesson. I'm willing to comply with any conditions the court puts upon me." His children also spoke on behalf of their dad. Adopted son Quincy Brown, surrounded by his siblings, told the judge his father has learned the lesson, and week after week, we've seen him evolve, something we haven't seen in 15 years. He's completely transformed. Daughter Jessie addressed the court as well, breaking down into tears, saying, "He has made many mistakes and we aren't here to excuse any of those mistakes. But, Your Honor, he is still our dad and we still need him present in our lives." Before the hearing began, Combs' attorneys submitted a campaign-style video showing his charity work, along with images of him caring for his kids after the death of his ex-girlfriend, Kim Porter. which was played in court, bringing Combs to tears. But prosecutors began the hearing by telling the court that a former employee of Diddy's who testified in his trial under the pseudonym Mia would no longer be speaking as originally planned, citing a, quote, bullying letter submitted by the defense. The judge also failed to buy the defense's attempt to characterize the so-called freak-offs or drug-fueled sex parties as intimate, consensual experiences. Prosecutors called Combs' respect for the law lip service and said this is a case with real victims who have suffered real harms at the hands of the defendant and who, because of the defendant, have questioned their own self-worth and desire to live. And before issuing the sentence, the judge scolded Combs, saying, a history of good works cannot erase the power and control you had over the women you profess to love dearly. You abused them physically, emotionally, and psychologically, and you used that to get your way.
Our thanks to Elizabeth Wagmeister for that report, and still much more here on CNN Newsroom, including a look at Jaguar Sanctuary in Mexico. A big cat classroom working to make sure that the animals are ready to be able to survive in the wild.
What would you pay for an iPad Pro? I only paid $42 on DealDash. DealDash.com. Online auction since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. And this smart charcoal grill sold for $16. And this Nintendo Switch sold for less than $20. Deals like these and many more happen in the thousands of daily auctions on DealDash.com. All auctions start at $0. And remember, everything must go.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56. I got this barbecue smoker for $26.
And you get a 90-day money-back guarantee with your first purchase. This brand new iPhone sold for less than $42. And this DJI drone sold for less than $21.
I got it for $16 on DealDash.
And shipping is always free. Go to DealDash.com right now and see how much you can save.
There are auctions going on right now. So what are you waiting for? I'm Miles Penn, founder and CEO of MTailor. I started MTailor because it's frustrating to find clothes that fit, and I can't stand trying stuff on. We created patented technology that measures you 20% more accurately than a tailor using just your phone's camera. Most clothes use just 1 or 2 measurements. MTailor's custom clothes use 7 or more measurements to give you a perfect fit. We can custom make you an entire wardrobe. Jeans, pants, suits, shirts, polos, tees, and more, all from home. Download the MTailor app today. No matter your build, your waist, hips, and length will always be perfect with us. Whether you are so big or so small, we'll fit you all. Getting measured takes less than 30 seconds, and MTailor offers free returns and free shipping. Made-to-measure jeans start at just $79, dress shirts at $69, and suits at $3.99. We ship directly from our custom tailors to you. Download the MTailor app on iOS or Android, or visit mtailor.com.
Inside Africa. See a continent in transformation as trailblazers evolve culture, technology, and industry across Africa and beyond. From dance to comedy and music, see how Uganda's performing artists are finding their spotlights.
I feel like more African artists and more Ugandan artists in particular are going to take over the world.
Inside Africa on CNN in association with Zenith Bank.
Get your animals ready. Wow. Every single species play a very important role in the whole ecosystem. Why wouldn't we want our children to fall in love with nature? We don't have much years to make a difference. Don't give up. Let's do it. You can make it. For the people, health and soul.
In a divided move, where do I fit? You saw me ask your body. Abby Phillip brings all sides to the table.
Can you name one thing you do this
Her policy is so racial.
And be signified. I try to tip the men who have a trans-inclusive politics. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not a lot of them niggas. Battle rap trade, yes. Jay, now he's a good queen. So, but he a nigga. I didn't have fucks with quiz. It's just what it is. My boo Darnell. Darcel. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not centering men, and when you decenter men, they're not going to always be in the program. Some of them will, but they're not going to always be in the program. And I do like a little sprinkle of misandry. Sometimes these niggas don't need no love. They need to be fucking red. That's what it is. I was recently accused of being a man hater too by someone that hangs with hoes. Okay. Yeah. But I'm not tripping about no man hater. But you can't say I'm not a community ass bitch and I don't fuck with I fuck with trans women and I fuck with women the cis women the long way. So anyway, I thought it was funny. I think Hope is funny. I think she is. What I also think is funny is when she be on there getting out tough. And I said what I said, but every video you take down. You talk all this shit and then you take the video down. Alright. Why you not standing on business and keeping it up so the girls can see? So you can't come back later and spin a lie. Did any of y'all buy the tickets to the wedding? Did y'all get the live stream? Did y'all watch the live stream? But what was y'all experience watching the live stream? I need testimonials of y'all watching the live stream. Did the live stream work once you bought the tickets? I heard it didn't work. Did you get your refund? Did you get your coins back? You know what's crazy? This hair is blue.
Country is facing a record high inflation rate, which is really crushing households, and people are frustrated with having to spend more, which is a concern really felt around the world. Now, the second reason is because in late 2023, the LDP was faced with a political scandal. Some lawmakers were found to have not properly reported their income, not properly reported the kickbacks they were receiving. Now, of course, when the public found out, they were very, very frustrated and furious with the LDP. But the LDP didn't significantly punish any of the lawmakers involved. Now, the third and final reason, Paulo, is that the LDP has come up with many creative solutions in the past few years. In fact, in the major and general elections, opposition
Well, you all look good. How do I look? I look like a model, like I work at Pecker Woods, like a regular dreamboat. Well, whatever. We all love banks, especially the big ones that take big risks, because they just know that if they went under, we'd all be dead. Too big to fail? Great idea. Let's put it to the test. This is a little something I came up with.
Natural sunlight. Got the bedhead, fast cardio, little nice natural sunlight.
Hi there! Hello there!
I've been so I don't know about no doubt in there.
No, I'm not going to accept the pilot. I don't care if it's practically a lock to get picked up in full.
Opposition parties have been the ones to come up with creative solutions around, for instance.
It doesn't read blue on the screen. You can return donations. I don't know. That's what the kitty said. She was charging for tickets. You can see it. It looks a little. Y'all see that it's blue? It looks like it just got a blue rinse. Like you don't rinse your hair with a blue. Y'all remember back in the day when people used to use blue rinses? Do I still do that? Like instead of just being like a black rinse, it'll be like a blue black rinse. Because it make brown skin girls like their skin look more sickening. Because blue makes brown skin pop. So they used to put blue black rinses on black. If your hair was dark, they would put blue black rinses on it. I'll buy a ticket to Sydney's Charge Wedding before I buy a ticket to her wedding. At least you know it'll be entertaining.
Check out the expanded strength equipment at Planet Fitness. Join the club today for $1.
I'm in it. That's where my inside bag is peek through black movies. I'll stand on it. I tell the truth. Yes, right. That's what we're talking about. You better be glad I ain't got nothing really else to talk about.
I'm not just some fuck toy you can call at any minute. I was stuck in traffic forever. We broke up 2 years ago. Hey, are you running the marathon tomorrow? The doctor said I should stop.
Alright, I'm going to bed. This was fun. It was real. I will see y'all later. Yeah, today, because it is today. Y'all have a great Saturday. Have fun. Be safe. Do all the things. And I will see y'all later.